Assalamu alaikum, Facebook fam. It's Top Cat Productions, LLIC, Light and Life Rebuilding Center, a center of hope and salvation for all nations. Kaba Kashif Muhammad Isawam. Now, this is part 2 of My Savior's Day / Emancipation of a Nation, the final warning. Savior's Day 2019. Okay, so where I left off at, this part 2, Facebook fam. So where I left off at, I was explaining to y'all about the dark child, the savior that was to be hanging on the cross of sin, hanging on the cross of spiritual death. So now we see that we must move swiftly. Okay, if we go to Matthew 27, through 46, it says that now from the 6th hour there was darkness all over the land until the 9th hour. And about the 9th hour, Jesus cried with a loud voice saying, Ali, Ali, lama sabachthani. That is to say, my God, why hast thou forsaken me? And some of them that stood there, when they heard that, said, this man calleth for Elias. And straightway one of them ran and took a sponge and filled it with vinegar and put it on a reed and gave him to drink. And the rest said, let us see whether Elias will come and save him. Jesus, when he cried again with a loud voice, yielded up the ghost. And behold, the veil of the temple was rent in twain from the top to the bottom. And the earth did quake, and the rocks rent, and the graves were open. And many of the bodies of the saints which slept arose, and came up out of the graves after his resurrection, and went into the city, and appeared unto many. So now, from the 6th hour, Matthew 27, 45 through 53. So now, from the 6th hour to the 9th hour, there was darkness over the land. So now this child, this materialistic child, this dark matter, the darkness that was in the womb of the universe, which is the earth. The earth is the womb of the universe. So there was darkness in the womb of the universe, rotating in the womb of the universe. There was a 78 trillion years ago, there was a man, the first man in the earth. That was that first God that created the heavens and the earth, that created the understanding of the creation. He was a materialistic man, a man with no spirituality in him. He was of the darkness of ignorance until the light touched him in the dark, and that man became a revolving light. That first God started revolving. His mind, the spirit of Allah touched him, and his mind began to evolve. He began to grow and resurrect into the fullness and apex of spiritual understanding. He began to grow into his godly state. But until he reached the apex of his spirituality, he still was a child. He was a dark child. He was of the materialism of darkness. The materialism of darkness dictated his life until the power of light entered into his mind. And the power moved the atom into rotation. And the atom began to evolve and grow spiritually. And then that first man began to define the creation. What right foods to eat. Who God is. How he created himself from the atom of life, from that power, from that spirit. He beginning to define everything in the creation. And his definition that he defined 78 trillion years ago is the religion we call Islam. Is the spirituality that we call Islam. That's the will of Allah. His definition of the creation is the will of Allah. That's the will that we all must come through in order to get the power to rotate in our mind, so that we can resurrect ourselves from the spiritually dead. So now let us move on. So now, Allah God, the power of Allah God entered into his mind that first man 78 trillion years ago. So now Allah God intends to do the same thing what he did 78 trillion years ago. He, Allah God, is finna do the same thing in this day and time. Allah God chose his materialistic man at the materialism of matter. He chose his man to instill his universal power within that dog child, that materialistic child, that child that's in the darkness of ignorance, in the darkness of materialism, in the wilderness of sin. So Allah God choose one out of the darkness and then still plant a seed into the mind of that dog child. And that dog child takes that seed and grow on it. And that seed begins to evolve. It begins to grow. This is what Wallace Paul Muhammad laid the foundation. The Honorable Elijah Muhammad got the knowledge from Master Paul in 1930. Allah God chose Master Paul Muhammad to bring forth the universal law to America, to wake up a child in the last days that would be the savior, that would bring the fullness of the will to the people. So now let us move on. So now, Allah God chose that son of man. That son of man brought about the universal law. That dog child is myself. I'm the son of man. I'm the one that Allah God chose out the materialism of darkness. I'm that child, Kaaba Kashif Muhammad, that's crying in the wilderness. I'm locked in the wilderness, but yet and still the universal light. I'm bringing y'all universal truth while my mind is still locked up in a materialistic frame of mind. The posture of my mind is of the materialism of darkness. But yet and still, the universal light touched me in the dark, and I'm evolving. I'm bringing forth universal light to the people. And the people steady evolving. I'm steady evolving. I'm steady growing and to the pinnacle and to the power of my own being. Though I'm still a child, I'm still in the wilderness, but I'm growing. I'm growing. I'm evolving. Just like that first man did 78 trillion years ago when that light touched him in a materialistic state of mind. The light touched the dark and he began to evolve. He didn't evolve overnight. It took years for that first man that gave us the universal law. It took years for him to grow and evolve. But once he grew and evolved, he came into the fullness of his power, the pinnacle of his power. And he began to define the creation. And that's that will of Allah, that what the body of knowledge that he gave us is the will of Allah. That's what Allah wants the people to know. Allah instilled his power into that first man. Allah brought forth the spirit and created the earth. Took a materialistic man out of the dark and brought him into the light. And he began to evolve. And this is what I'm doing. Allah has chosen me. I'm that second Adam. I'm the second Adam. I'm the second Adam that Allah God has brought out of the darkness. The firstborn. Okay? And now the power of Allah is working through me. It's evolving. I'm steady growing. I'm steady growing. When I started off bringing the universal light to y'all, I showed I was in the light was in me, but yet it's still my mind was still locked up in materialism. I still was of material matter. I still was in the darkness, which I'm still in the darkness right now. But the light is growing. I'm steady evolving. I'm steady growing. The child is steady evolving. Okay, now let's move on. So now, let's go to Allah God chose his man. Allah God chose me to bring forth the universal light to the people, what he wanted the people to know. Allah God chose me. So now, the one that second Adam that Allah God chose, now we got ministers in the Nation of Islam don't want to accept the fact that Allah God chose one outside the Nation of Islam. This child the light couldn't reach him in the Nation of Islam. He was not to be a part of the Islamic deen. Because Allah God wants to show the world that he, Allah God, is God alone. And there's none comparable unto him. So Allah God chose one that knows nothing about the Islamic deen. Allah chose one that's not in amongst the Islamic gods, the circle of gods. Allah chose one outside the circle. Because Allah God wants to show the world that he, Allah God, is a self-independent God. He's Fard Muhammad, which means one of independent, an independent God that don't rely on other gods for the universal law. The universal law, the universal truth touched me in the wilderness. I knew nothing about the Nation of Islam. I wasn't brought up in the Nation of Islam. I never been a part of the Nation of Islam. I went into an Islamic mosque 1 or 2 times. Allah God choose one that's wandering in the wilderness. And that light touches that child in the wilderness, and that child begin to grow as it was 7, 8 trillion years ago. Now let's move on. Now if we go to let's go to Surah 38. Cause we finna get deep into it.
Call to mind when your Lord said to the angels, I am about to create a human being from clay.
So now, Allah God is about to create a human being from clay, material matter. He's about to the universal law is about to touch a child in the wilderness, a man with a materialistic mind, that's a baby or infant in knowledge, that has to use that universal law as a seed to grow. So now, Allah God, it says that, let's go over it again.
Call to mind when your Lord said to the angels, I am about to create a human being from clay.
So now the clay symbolizes the material matter. The clay symbolizes that dog child, that dog Adam. that materialistic minded, just like the first God 78 trillion years ago. Materialism dictated his life. He had no spirituality until the power touched him in the dark. So the clay, Allah God, is plans to recreate the earth now. So he brings forth, he makes his man out of clay, out of nothing. A materialistic minded man. A man that's in the wilderness of sin. This is what the clay symbolizes. So now let us move on.
Call to mind when your Lord said to the angels, I am about to create a human being from clay. And when I have fashioned him in perfection, and I have inspired into him of my revelation, then fall down submitting to him. So when he inspired into him his revelation, the angels submitted one and all. But Iblis did not. He behaved arrogantly, for he was of the disbelievers.
So now when Allah makes his man out of clay, and when he fashioned him in perfection, and I have inspired into him my revelation, then fall down submitting to him. So when he inspired into him his revelation, all the angels submitted, one and all. But Iblis did not. He behaved arrogantly, for he was one of the disbelievers. So now, when Allah God instilled the universal law within my heart, when the power reached me in the wilderness, Allah God told all the gods within the circle of gods to submit, bow down and submit to this materialistic man, because I'm going to take him out of the dark. I'm going to use the universal law, what the Honorable Elijah Muhammad brought to the people. The law is going to touch him. The law is the power, the force, the spirit. So the knowledge is going to come to him in the wilderness. And when it comes to him, my man that's in that materialistic world, that got that materialistic mind, that's in the materialism of darkness, that dog child, just like it was 78 trillion years ago, the darkness of ignorance. So when that universal light reached that child in the darkness, Allah God told all the gods that's in the circle of gods to bow down and submit to that man child, because that man child is going to be something powerful. I'm going to make him the ruler. It's the same with Surah 2782.
And when the judgment becomes due against them, we shall bring forth for them a grossly materialistic person, which will rule over them. That is because the people did not have firm faith in our messages.
So now, at the time of the judgment, at the time of the resurrection, at the end of the white man's world, Allah God is going to bring forth a grossly materialistic man, a dog child, a child that's in the wilderness, a child that's mind is locked on the materialism that's around him, is dictating his life. Total darkness, as it was in the beginning 78 trillion years ago, when that man was in total darkness, and the light brought forth the dark out of the dark, brought the man out of the dark into the light. And that man began to evolve and grow into his spirituality. And then he began to define the universe. He began to bring forth a will, a law. He laid the foundation at the beginning of the creation. So now Allah God intends to recreate the universe again. So he brings the universe in total darkness. The people in the White House, they can't get along. They in confusion. They in the darkness of confusion. He bring forth confusion in the nation of Islam, Dianetics, sorceries. He make it so that there can be no light nowhere. Total darkness. Then he bring forth a child with a materialistic mind. The darkness of materialism. He finds one that's in that dark. And he instills the universal light into that materialistic a child that's in the dark. That's living in the dark. That's living in a time where the government is confused. The darkness of confusion. And that's living in a time where the spiritual powers in the world is confused. The nation of Islam. The Pope of Rome. All over the land. There's no light nowhere. Dianetics is dictating the nation of Islam. Scientology. Total darkness. The land is in total darkness. Then he finds one that's wandering in the darkness. That's wandering in the wilderness. His mind is locked on materialism. His mind is dictated by the materialism that's around him. He finds one that's wandering in the darkness and instills his light into that materialistic child. And that materialistic child starts to grow off that universal law. The universal law that the Honorable Elijah Muhammad gave us. He uses that law and begin to evolve and begin to grow. Because what? He's about to grow into the ruler. He's about to be the ruler. He's not the ruler now. He's not the ruler now because he haven't fully grew into the apex of his spirituality. And on top of that, two gods can't rule at the same time. You got the gods of darkness, the gods of evil that's ruling right now. So right now, Allah God is just taking his child. And he got his child on practicing right now. He's warming up because he's about to come up and take over. He's about to take over the universe. He's just waiting until the final judgment, the final resurrection to come about. Once the final resurrection come about, now this child is the come about fully out of his grave of ignorance. Just like Jesus rose from the dead and went into the city and went to preaching into the city. So now let us move on. So now we got a bliss. Surah 38. Surah 38, what was 71?
Call to mind when your Lord said to the angels, I am about to create a human being from clay. And when I have fashioned him in perfection, and I have inspired into him of my revelation, then fall down submitting to him. So when he inspired into him his revelation, the angels submitted one and all. But Iblis did not. He behaved arrogantly, for he was of the disbelievers.
So now, all the angels submitted. If we go to Revelation chapter 5, Revelation chapter 5 in the Bible, it says that, and I saw in the right hand of him that sat on the throne a book written and on the backside sealed with 7 seals. And I saw a strong angel proclaiming with a loud voice, who is worthy to open the book and to loose the 7 seals thereof. And no man in heaven, nor in earth, neither under the earth, was able to open the book, neither to look thereon. And I wept much, because no man was found worthy to open and read the book, neither to look thereon. Now the book is the teachings of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, the Bible and the Quran. Okay, the full expoundment of it. So now, and one of the elders said unto me, weep not. Behold, the Lion of the tribe of Judah, the root of David, has prevailed to open the book and to loose the 7 seals thereof. So that's me. I'm the Lion of the tribe of Judah. I'm loosening the 7 seals right now. So now, and behold, and lo, in the midst of the throne and of the 4 elders stood a lamb, as it had been slain, having 7 horns and 7 eyes, which are the 7 spirits of God sent forth into all the earth. And he came and took the book out of the right hand of him that sat upon the throne. And when he had taken the book, the 4 beasts and 24 elders fell down before the Lamb. So the 24 elders fell down before the Lamb, having every one of them harps and golden vials full of odors, which are the prayers of saints. And they sung a new song, saying, Thou art worthy to take the book and to open the seals thereof, for thou wast slain and was redeemed and has redeemed us to God by the blood out of every kindred, tongue, people, and nations. So now, it says right here, the lamb was slain. The slain symbolizes the wilderness. The lamb was in the wilderness. So now, it says that in Revelation chapter 5, verse 8, and when he had taken the book, the 4 beasts and 24 elders fell down before the Lamb, having every one of them hearts. So now, when Allah made his man from clay, when Allah said he was going to make his man from clay, from the darkness of ignorance, all the gods within the circle of gods fell down before the Lamb and went to worshiping the Lamb, because they know that the Lamb is like that first God 7-8 trillion years ago. How the light touched that first God, and that first God began to evolve, and he came into his godly state of mind and went to defining the creation. That's the God that created the heavens and the earth. Excuse me. They know that that Lamb that loosed the 7 seals is about to be the God of the universe. He's about to take over and be that he's that grossly materialistic man that's going to rule over all nations. If we go back to Surah 27 again. Surah 27:82.
And when the judgment becomes due against them, we shall bring forth for them a grossly materialistic person, which will rule over them.
Now, they know that grossly materialistic one, the one that's in the wilderness, the child that's in the wilderness, that dog child, that darkness that's in the womb of the universe, the earth is the womb of the universe. So they know that grossly materialistic child that's in the wilderness, he's going to be the ruler. So they bow down to that one. They bow down because he's starting to loose the 7 seals now. He's bringing forth more light. He's the sun that's bringing forth light. He's using that foundation that was laid 7-8 trillion years ago, that was given to Master Paul Muhammad and the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. He's taking that book and he's loosening the 7 seals. He's bringing forth more light. He's increasing the light. He's steady evolving. He's evolving. He's rising up now. So they know that Lamb, the Lion of the tribe of Judah, in Revelation chapter 5, which symbolizes me, Kaaba Kashif Muhammad. So all the gods within the circle of gods, they bow down. They submit. They accept that one that Allah God has chosen, that dog child that's in the darkness. Now all submit but Iblis. Now, if we go back to Surah 38, Surah 38, let me see, 71.
Call to mind when your Lord said to the angels, I am about to create a human being from clay. And when I have fashioned him in perfection, and I have inspired into him of my revelation, then fall down submitting to him. So when he inspired into him his revelation, the angels submitted one and all. But Iblis did not. He behaved arrogantly, for he was of the disbelievers.
Okay.
God said, O Iblis, what prevented you from submitting to him whom I have created with my own special powers, bestowing him with the maximum attributes? Is it that you seek to be great, or is it that you are really of the highly proud ones, above obeying my command? Iblis said, I am better than he. You created me from fire, while you created him from clay.
Okay.
God said, then get out of this state. You are surely driven away from my mercy. And surely upon you shall be my disapproval till the day of judgment. Iblis said, my Lord, reprieve me till the day when the people are raised to life. God said, you are of course of the reprieved ones, till the day of which the time is known and fixed. Iblis said, I swear by your might, I will surely seduce them all, except your servants from among them, the true and purified ones, who are out of my powers.
Okay, now, when God, Allah God, made his man, when Allah God searched for that one out of the darkness, when he brought the whole universe in the darkness, then Allah God searched for one, searched that one, and found that materialistic one that was wandering in the wilderness. And the light touched that child in the wilderness, just like the water sprung up at the foot of Ishmael when Hagar and Ishmael was wandering in the wilderness, and the well of water sprung up in the wilderness. So now Allah God say, I'm gonna make my man out of clay. He's gonna be a materialistic minded person. He's gonna come, he's gonna bring forth my universal law with a materialistic state of mind. He's gonna be an infant. He's gonna be a child in knowledge. He's going to take my universal law and evolve. He's going to grow into his apex. And when he grows into his apex, when he comes to the resurrection, I'm going to bring him fully into the power of his own being. And he's going to be the God of my creation. And I'm going to use him to get the earth, establish the earth back like it was in the days of old. Righteousness. This is the 1,000-year reign. Christ gonna be on the earth, straightening out what the devil, messed up, left in chaos and confusion. So now, all the angels of heaven, all the gods that's in the circle of gods, the 24 elders, all of them submitted to Allah God's chosen one that was wandering in the wilderness. But Iblis was proud and arrogant. He thought he was better. Iblis, Farrakhan. That's who Iblis is. Allah God made his man. All the angels, all the 24 elders submit to my wisdom. They throw me up signs every day. They throw me up signs, let me know that they with me. But Iblis, Farrakhan, is Iblis. Let's go for it one more time. Let's go for it one more time.
Call to mind when your Lord said to the angels, I am about to create a human being from clay. And when I have fashioned him in perfection, and I have inspired into him of my revelation, then fall down submitting to him. So when he inspired into him his revelation, the angels submitted one and all. But Iblis did not. He behaved arrogantly, for he was of the disbelievers. God said, O Iblis, what prevented you from submitting to him whom I have created with my own special powers, bestowing him with the maximum attributes? Is it that you seek to be great? Or is it that you are really of the highly proud ones, above obeying my command? Iblis said, I am better than he. You created me from fire, while you created him from clay. God said, then get out of this state. You are surely driven away from my mercy. And surely upon you shall be my disapproval till the day of judgment. Iblis said, my Lord, reprieve me till the day when the people are raised to life. God said, you are of course of the reprieved ones, till the day of which the time is known and fixed. Iblis said, I swear by your might, I will surely seduce them all, except your servants from among them, the true and purified ones, who are out of my powers.
So now, a bliss which symbolizes the minister Louis Farrakhan. That's who a bliss is. Now, the minister Louis Farrakhan don't want to submit to God's man, which is Kaaba Kashif woman, which is that black stone in Mecca over there, what symbolizes the Kaaba Kashif woman, me, the new ruler, the grossly materialistic one, the one that's wandering in the wilderness, the one that's in the darkness, the one that Allah brought forth the light and brought out the darkness. So all the gods and the circular gods submit to my wisdom. They believe in me because they know I'm that one that's soon to grow and come to the resurrection. And when I resurrect fully into my power, then I'm going to be the ruler of the nations. They know who I am. Just like that first God 78 trillion years ago. All them submit to my wisdom. All them believe in me because they know that I'm directly from Allah. But Iblis, Farrakhan, he the only one that can't seem to submit and obey Allah. He don't want to obey Allah because Allah makes his man out of clay. Allah makes his man out of nothing. Just like he did in the beginning of time, 78 trillion years ago, when he brought forth that man out of the dark. That first man that was in the darkness of materialism. The light touched that first God, while that first God was in the materialistic darkness. And the light touched him, and he began to evolve. The light brought him out the dark, and he began to evolve and grow into his spirituality. And then he began defining the creation. He gave definition to everything in the creation. That's the will of Allah. So Allah God intends to recreate the earth, the universe, just like he did the same way he did 78 trillion years ago. So Allah God chooses one that's in the dark. Chooses one that's with a grossly materialistic man. That's enriched in materialism. And the light touches that child while he's in the dark. So Allah God say, submit to my man because I'm gonna fashion him in the shape. He's gonna evolve, and at the final judgment, at the resurrection, he's gonna resurrect fully, and he's gonna be my vicegerent. He's gonna be the Khalifa. He's going to be the one that take my place and be the ruler of the universe. He's going to be my advocate. He's going to be the one that's going to propagate what I want the people to know. So everybody bow down, everybody submit to Allah God's chosen one, but the bliss. The Minister Louis Farrakhan. So the Minister Louis Farrakhan plans he's trying to trick all the brothers in the Nation of Islam, all the brothers and sisters in the Nation of Islam. Because this is what it says right here. Listen. Okay.
But Iblis did not. He behaved arrogantly, for he was of the disbelievers. God said, O Iblis, what prevented you from submitting to him whom I have created with my own special powers, bestowing him with the maximum attributes? Is it that you seek to be great, or is it that you are really of the highly proud ones, above obeying my command? Iblis said, I am better than he. You created me from fire, while you created him from clay. God said, then get out of this state. You are surely driven away from my mercy, and surely upon you shall be my disapproval till the day of judgment. Iblis said, my Lord, reprieve me till the day when the people are raised to life. God said, you are of course of the reprieved ones, till the day of which the time is known and fixed. Iblis said, I swear by your might, I will surely seduce them all, except your servants from among them, the true and purified ones, who are out of my powers. God said, truth has dawned, and I speak the truth, that I will fill Gehenna with the like of you and with all those from among them who follow you.
So now, Iblis intends to seduce all the brothers and sisters in the Nation of Islam. The devil know that his time is short. Farrakhan know that his time is short. So he intends to trick all these brothers and sisters in the Nation of Islam. He wants the brothers and sisters forsake the will of Allah. Forsake the one Allah chose fashioned out of clay, out of materialism of darkness. He wants everybody to forsake him, forsake that one Allah God chose, and follow him. Minister Louis Farrakhan. This is what Farrakhan wants. This is what Iblis wants. Iblis want to seduce all the brothers and sisters away from the universal law. That child that's preaching in the wilderness, trying to get to the people. So those that want to follow Farrakhan, you're going to follow Farrakhan to hell. Get thee on my left or get thee on my right. You want to follow Farrakhan? Go with him. Farrakhan is going to take you to hell. So now let us move on. So now, if we go to, we finna sum it all up now, because we ain't got much time. Matter of fact, let me check my device. Okay, Jeremiah 42. If you will still abide in this land, Jeremiah 42, starting at verse 10. If you will still abide in this land, then will I build you up, and not pull you down. I will plant you, and not pluck you up. For I will repent me of the evil that I have done unto you. Be not afraid of the king of Babylon, who is Farrakhan, of whom ye are afraid. Be not afraid of him, said the Lord, for I am with you to save you, and to deliver you from his hand. And I will show mercy unto you, that he may have mercy upon you, and cause you to return to your own land. But if you say, we will not dwell in this land, the land of universal truth that the child is trying to preach to you, neither obey the voice of the Lord your God, saying no, but we will go into the land of Egypt. The land of Egypt is the knowledge that Farrakhan is giving to the people, trying to seduce the people. Okay, if you will follow it, saying, but we will go into the land of Egypt, where we will see no war, nor hear the sound of the trumpet, nor if ever have hunger of bread, and there we will dwell. And now therefore hear the word of the Lord, ye remnant of Judah. Thus said the Lord of hosts, the God of Israel, if ye only set your faces to enter into Egypt and go to sojourn there, then it shall come to pass that the sword which ye have feared shall overtake you there in the land of Egypt, and the famine whereof ye were afraid shall follow close after you there in Egypt, and there shall you die. So shall it be with all the men that set their faces to go into Egypt to sojourn there. They shall die by the sword, by the famine, and by the pestilence, and none of them shall remain or escape from the evil that I will bring upon them. So, family, y'all got a choice. You can follow Farrakhan into Egypt, and there you're going to be destroyed. Or you can come into the universal law that I'm bringing to the people. You can submit to the universal truth, the fullness of the universal law. You can follow the universal law, the will of Allah. You got a choice. You can follow the will of Farrakhan, which symbolizes the Egypt, that Jeremiah chapter 42, verse 10 through 17. You can go into Egypt with Farrakhan and be destroyed off the earth, or you can come into the universal law, universal truth, the will of Allah, and be resurrected at the end, come fully into the power of your own being and go on to possess the land. This is my Savior's Day 2019/Emancipation of a Nation, the final warning. Facebook fam, this concludes my Savior's Day /Emancipation of a Nation 2019, the final warning. I'm doing this one. I did this one here for my brothers doing time in Iraq, the Southeast boss players, to put the game on lock. Sometimes we never understand our miseries and troubles, because when you're rolling like G's, all you can see is the struggle. It's on the muscle. It's do or die to survive. We never took the time to notice how we live in a lie, stripped of our knowledge and shipped into a strange land. They took a nation of gods and made them triggermans, pimps, pushers, and panhandlers and backstabbers, pickpockets and crooks, books and bag grabbers, and left us scrambling back and forth, serving prison bids, the living destiny's hands. Our precious women and kids, look what we did. And now we wonder why. Late night, locked down, think about it and cry. And then we try to ease the fears, our pain and sorrows, and start to clear away the tears, hoping maybe tomorrow will blow the rain away. But there's only one way to solve a rainy day. Check it out. You bring your violence to a cease, bow your head to the east, give your praise to Allah, let your peace increase, and you'll be free. Be still, Facebook fam. I want y'all to be still. You know, me and Allah, we fighting for the salvation of this black nation. So y'all just be still, you know what I'm saying? And listen to the universal truth, because the universal law is the salvation for all nations, the universal law that the Honorable Elijah Muhammad gave us, and the universal law that I'm continuing to evolve and grow and bring to its pinnacle. That's the salvation. That's the only salvation that we have. Without that, you won't make it. You're gonna be destroyed off the earth. So just be still, Facebook family. Y'all listen to what the knowledge that I'm bringing you. You know, the universal law that I'm bringing you. So I want everybody to just be still. You know what I'm saying? Be still, listen to the universal law, come into the universal knowledge, and come into the understanding, the light of understanding of universal truth. Don't follow Farrakhan. Farrakhan is not the way. So just be still.
Welcome home. I hope you got some rest from the flight. I know you're only here for 2 days, but we have a lot going on. Your morning show begins in an hour, and you have a conference call afterwards. Now that your clothing line is launched, we have several interviews lined up before the fashion show tonight. You will have there for your reception, and Taylor misses you, so she'll... You will have a chance. It's been a long time since we got together like this, and I really told you, but it's easy for you to rush, be anxious, instead of and remaining in
Be still, Facebook family. Man, Allah, we on y'all side. You know what I'm saying? We ain't gonna never leave you. We gonna never leave y'all without, a comforter, without being comforted with the universal law. So y'all just be still. Savior's Day 2019 / Emancipation of a Nation. The final warning. I'm out.